The masked figure steps onto Nancy Guthrie's porch. Gloves, backpack, face covered. And then something very specific happens. The person reaches for foliage and attempts to obscure the Ring doorbell camera. Not with tape, not with spray paint, but with something natural from the property. And since that footage was released by the FBI, investigators and reporters have shifted their focus to something you might not expect: the terrain, the brush, the landscape surrounding Nancy's home. Today, we're going to break down what is confirmed, what reporters like Brian Entin and NewsNation are saying, and why this terrain angle may matter more than people realize. When the FBI released the still images from the Ring doorbell camera, it changed the tone of the case. We now know a masked individual was on the porch, the camera was tampered with, foliage was used to obscure the lens. That detail, using plants from the property, is subtle, but it suggests awareness of surroundings. It suggests intent, and that's where the terrain conversation begins. Since the footage release, Brian Entin and NewsNation have been analyzing the environment around Nancy's home. They've pointed out sparse light in portions of the neighborhood, limited fixed camera coverage beyond the porch, and desert-style brush and shrub clusters that create natural concealment. They are not claiming police found evidence in bushes. They are contextualizing how someone could disappear from camera view once they move off the porch. In terrain like that, traditional surveillance doesn't stretch far. Once you leave the front steps, visibility drops dramatically, and that changes how investigators think. Here's what is confirmed. Authorities have processed Nancy's home multiple times, returned with evidence response teams, collected DNA and digital evidence, canvassed surrounding properties, searched Annie Guthrie's home as part of following leads. Those are documented investigative actions. And neighborhood canvassing naturally includes yards, brush lines, and areas where physical trace evidence could exist. But law enforcement has not publicly stated that a specific bush yielded forensic evidence. That distinction matters. Let's separate this clearly. Confirmed. Masked suspect seen interfering with the camera. Foliage used to block the lens. FBI remains heavily involved. Multiple property searches conducted. Not confirmed. No official statement tying shrubbery to forensic findings. No confirmation that a brush search has produced evidence. No declaration that terrain is the breakthrough. Media analysis is interpreting terrain based on environment and behavior. That is not the same as an official police finding. Now, here's where this gets interesting. If someone disables a camera using natural elements from the property, that suggests familiarity with the space. It suggests calm enough movement to grab foliage. It suggests a level of planning. And when you introduce planning into a case, investigators widen the circle. Where did the suspect move next? Did they step into brush to avoid camera range? Did they discard something? Did they disturb vegetation? Terrain becomes part of the forensic map, not because police announced it, but because that's how investigative logic works. This isn't a downtown apartment complex. This isn't a heavily lit city block. This is a property surrounded by desert terrain, uneven lighting, and natural concealment points. In that type of environment, footprints may not last. Camera capture may fail. Trace evidence can be hidden in vegetation. So when reporters focus on terrain, it's not sensational, it's practical. Now let's discuss the person who was detained. Law enforcement officials briefly detained a man identified by some media outlets as Carlos Palazuelos, a local delivery driver from Rio Rico, Arizona, after a traffic stop south of Tucson following the release of the new FBI doorbell footage. Agents executed a court-authorized search of his home and vehicle as part of investigative follow-ups. Carlos told reporters he was held for several hours, initially without knowing why, and that he was shown images law enforcement believed resembled him. He has denied knowing Nancy or being involved in her disappearance. After questioning, authorities released him without charges. The sheriff's office and the FBI have not confirmed that he was the same individual seen in the surveillance footage, and they have not named him as a suspect. This development underscores the challenges investigators are facing, following up tips, interviewing individuals, and diligently eliminating leads as the search continues. So again, let's give a little bit more of a brief update in case we're lost in all of this. So, since the brief detention and subsequent release of the man law enforcement questioned earlier in this case, there have been no further detentions or arrests announced by authorities. Officials with the Pima County Sheriff's Office and the FBI have emphasized that the investigation is ongoing, that they are continuing to follow tips, review surveillance, and analyze evidence. But as of now, no one has been named a suspect in connection with Nancy's disappearance. There have also been no new proof of life developments, and no ransom communications have been verified as coming from whoever took her. Reporters and analysts have continued to discuss how the terrain and sparse camera coverage may have impacted the investigation, but law enforcement has not publicly confirmed that any searches of brush, shrubs, or specific landscape areas have turned up evidence. What we do know is that authorities remain actively involved, reviewing leads and pursuing every possible angle, and that the case continues to unfold. And that's it for this recap. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching and supporting me. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell so you don't miss any of my recaps. And remember, stay safe, stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.